Good evening, cadets. We are studying the rules of grammar, and you all know that these are all very important ones as far as UPSC GAT English examination is concerned. Spotting the errors. If you are familiar with all these rules, you'll be able to score very well in spotting the errors, improvement of the sentences. You have to be familiar with these rules. So we have discussed in the last class a number of rules, and in this class also we are going to take up a number of rules. So let's discuss this first one. Lest must be followed by should. So if lest is used, then it should be followed by should. Read regularly lest you will fail. Read regularly lest you will fail. Now remember here, what is here? Lest is used. But in the case of this sentence, you'll find that, yes, what is used? Will is used. So is it right? When lest is used, will should come? Yes, that is the question. When we are using lest, will come, will not come. So what should come? Only should will come. Now here lest, what does it mean? Lest. Now here in case, lest means what? In case. To avoid the risk. So read regularly. Otherwise what will happen? Otherwise with that for fear of that, no, otherwise what will happen? Read regularly, otherwise you will fail. Naturally that will come, but what happens? Lest you should fail. Otherwise what is going to happen? You are going to fail if you don't read regularly. That is what is the meaning. But if lest comes, you should use should. And these questions have appeared in the examination many times. Now, when less is used, should will come. When such is used, as will come. Is such a writer that you can use sometimes such as, or you can, is such a writer that everybody should read his books. It sounds correct, but it is not correct. If you are using such, as will come. Is such a writer as everybody should read his books. But such that also sometimes will use it. Such is also followed by that if you emphasize the degree of something by mentioning the result. So you can use such that. The extent of disaster was such that the authorities were quite unable to cope. Okay, so let's see some more rules now. Let's become familiar with those rules. Okay, now here, so is followed by that. So some of the examples here where so is followed by that. So you have to understand first the sentence there. Sarita was so popular with her classmates that. So you can use in the case of so that. But if you are using such, better to use as. And you have to understand the connotation, in what context it has been used. So Sarita was so popular with her classmates that she always had some people coming to her for advice. Now let us move on to next one now. Unless, see this unless, that is also very important. So what will go along with the word? See, we have learned in the last period what scarcely, hardly, if you are using, then what should come? When should come, not then. So if you are using what should come, that should come. So similar way, though if you are using it should come. No sooner if you are using than should come. So likewise, so if it comes, that will come. So now let us go to unless. Unless expresses a condition. How we are using if. But remember here it has a negative sense. Unless has a negative sense. Un. So thus not is never used with unless. So it will never come because unless itself is negative. You can't use one more negative. Yes, word having negative sense. So unless you do not labor hard, you will not pass. Because when you are saying unless, it it has negative sense. Therefore, unless you labor hard, you will not pass. So unless you labor hard, you will not pass. Okay. So let's go to the next one now. Until. Until expresses time. It has a negative sense and thus not should never be used with it. See, we are not using with unless not. So until we are using for time, but it also has negative sense because you are using un there. Till, no problem here. Wait here until I do not return. Wait here until I return. So wait here until I return. Wait here till I return. In place of until you can use till. Okay, wait here till I return or wait here until I return. So till and until they have got similar meaning, but until has a negative sense. Okay, that you keep it in mind. Now, next rule is a very, very important rule. I think you have come across many times this. You are quite often using the word since or for. A very important one. Since indicates what? A point of time. Remember, since is used for a point of time. What does it mean, point of time? Exact time, maybe month when you started doing the work. Since June, since 1941. So point of time. Whereas for stands for the length of time. Now you can say point of time since if you are using since June, since 1940, since 1 o'clock, like that you can tell. Like you are using point of time, you are using exact time. But when you are using for, it is used for the length of time. That means for the period of. Say you say for the, so it is used for period of time. So point of time and period of time. So for 4 months, for 2 hours, for 6 years. He has been living here for 6 years. So likewise, you can use it. So let's see here some examples which have been given here. He has been reading the book since 2 hours wrong. In place of since what should come? For should come. He has been reading the book for 2 hours. So 2 hours is a length of time, or you can say 2 hours is a period of time. And therefore, what is right? For is correct. It has been raining for Monday. No, it has been raining since Monday last. Because since here, you see Monday last, they have given point of time. They have given the day since when it has been raining. So therefore you have to use since. This, remember this because you have to find the difference between since and for. And this question is a very, very important one. Keep this in the mind. Often it has been asked in UPSC examination. So we'll move on to the next one now. 45th one. As if is used to convey the sense of pretension. As if is used to convey the sense of pretension. When as if is used in this sense, were is used in all cases, even with third person singular. He behaves as if he was a king. But remember here, whenever you are using if, then will you use was there? So you will not use was. What will you use? You will use, what will you use? You will use were. So this is very, very important one. You have to use were. Okay. So whenever, why you are using were? Because you are using if here. So whether if comes without as, so even if it comes separately, if I were the Prime Minister of India, if I were the Prime Minister of India, you must have written that essay. So remember this because this is very, very confusing for you. So whenever if comes, what should be used? Were should be used. So let's see some more rules now. We'll go to some more rules and we'll see those rules. Okay. So this will help you for solving when you are solving this question paper. Okay. So we are going to see some more examples here now. So let's see the rule here. If in a sentence an apposition has been used, so you can see here in comma what is used there. Apposition is used there. So just read this rule. If in a sentence an apposition has been used, the verb will follow not the apposition but the noun. Now here you see the verb will follow not the apposition but the noun or pronoun preceding it. So what is opposition? Opposition is what is position there. Close together, what is position there. So position which is very close, we can see that is related to you. You, my son. You, my son is a good boy. Wrong. Because you are referring to, you know what? What is preceding my son? That's what is in opposition? That's my son. But it is referring to what? You. When it is referring to pronoun you, so what will be the verb form? That is a question. What will be the verb form? So here it will be referring to you. So the verb form will be are. You are a good boy. You are a good boy. So let's go to the next one now. I hope you understood this. Let's go to next. Proper, abstract and material nouns have no plural except when they are used as common nouns. Now here, brick. Now what is it? It's a material noun, brick. Okay. Now what is brick? Brick is a material noun. Now in the case of water also, waters we use that. Okay. Now here some example is given here. The house is built of brick. When such nouns are used in the plural, they become common nouns with changed meaning. So their meanings will change. Like here in the case of wood. Now house is built of, wood. This house is built of wood. This house is built of brick. This house is built of stone. Now, when you are using wood, there's no problem. You are referring to the material. But when you are using woods, you are referring to what? Jungle. You are referring to forest. Woods means forest. So, similar way, when you are using copper, there's no problem. You are referring to metal, copper. But when you are saying coppers, then what? You are referring to what? Copper coins. You are referring to copper coins. Okay, when you are using copper. Iron. Now, when you are using iron, then what is it? It's a metal, iron. But here in the case of iron, here it should be ions. What it should be? It should be ions, and ions will refer to fetus. Ions will refer to fetus. Okay, chains. So fetus or chains. Okay, so when the police arrests, yes, he will arrest, right? So that time it's a fetus which are being used, ions which are being used, right? Okay. So it is made of what? Iron only. Tins, cans made of tin. Then woods, forest. So here he lives in the woods. He lives in the forest. It means he lives in the forest. Okay. So when we are using these nouns, particularly material nouns or abstract nouns, they have got different meaning altogether. So we are using, with in different sense. Now let's go to next one now. Clauses in a sentence beginning with a relative pronoun. So relative pronoun, what is there? Who, which, that. So when you see it is I, that is one clause. So clause is just like a sentence. It will have a subject and predicate. It will have a subject and predicate, but it is just like a sentence, but it is not a sentence. It's a part of a sentence. You understand that. A sentence will begin with, sentence will have subject and predicate. A sentence will begin with a capital letter and end with a full stop. A clause, what it will do? So a clause in a sentence beginning with a relative pronoun. Take a verb according to the noun or pronoun preceding the relative pronoun. Now here you see, preceding the relative pronoun. What are the relative pronouns? Who, which, that. These are relative pronouns. But they are working here as a conjunction here. So they are joining these two clauses. It is I who has done it. It is I who have done it. So the sentence should have been, it is I who have done it. So what is preceding the relative pronoun that is to be used? I have. I have done it. It is I who have done it. Let's go to next one now. The relative pronoun should be placed as near as possible to its antecedent so that no ambiguity arises. So this relative pronoun, here you see, the boy is my cousin who stood first in the mile race. Actually, it should have been the boy who stood first in the mile race is my cousin. It should have been. So here, what is it referring to? Antecedent. What is it referring to? So who is referring to boy? So antecedent is what? So here, antecedent is boy. Who is referring to boy? So when antecedent is boy, then it should be immediately after that. The relative pronoun should be placed as near as possible. Okay, that is the rule. Okay, we'll go to the next one now. When two singular nouns join by and are preceded by each or every, very important one, the pronoun used for them is singular. Your each man and each boy is responsible for his action. So here the pronoun that you are using, that should be what? That should be singular only his. Each man and each boy is responsible for his action. So let's move on to the next one. 67th one. Sometimes a pronoun is used where it is not required at all. He, being an MA, is qualified for the post. He, being an MA, is qualified for the post. That so MA, if it young, vowel sound is there, that's why and should be used. If a pronoun comes after a preposition, it should be used in the objective case. Now, if a pronoun comes after a preposition, between you and I, neither of us is correct. Between you and me, remember here, pronoun is coming after the preposition. Pronoun is coming after the preposition. Between you and me. So here they are all in objective say objective case. Why? Because there is a preposition that is used. That is between. Between is preposition. Between you and me. So here you see subjective form and objective form. It will be same in the case of you. But it is in objective case. And me is objective form of I. So between you and me, neither of us is correct. So we'll go to the 69th now. When a pronoun comes after like and unlike, it takes an objective case. A man like me will not do it. A man, now here, when a pronoun is coming after like or unlike, then in that case, a man like me, like if you are using, a man like me, you are comparing that. A man like me will not do it. Okay. Now next one. This is very, very important. A pronoun takes an objective case after let. So whenever you are using let, it will be always objective case. It will be always in the objective form. Okay, so let's go to the next one now. Pronouns joined by and remain in the same case. So when pronouns are joined by and, they will remain in the same case. Okay, pronoun joined by and, they remain in the same case. He and she are brother and sister. He and she are brother and sister. He and I. See, whenever objective sense is there, I mean form is there, you have to think about what verb. Are is the verb. And if conjunction is there and then there is no problem. So it will actually the verb form will depend upon the subject. So he and I. So two are there. So that's why are friends. Okay. So you shouldn't use objective form of I there. Then let's go to the next rule there. When pronouns of second person and third person are used as subjects, the pronoun following them will be according to the second person pronoun. Very important rule here. When pronoun of second person and third person are used as subjects. See here, you and he. Second person and third person subjects are used. I is first person. Second person is you. And third person is he. The pronoun following them will be according to the second person pronoun. And what is the second person pronoun? Yes, according to the second person pronoun. So if second person and third person is there, it will depend upon the second person. Okay. So here you and he must bring your books. You and he must bring your books because you'll be confused whether you should use his or you should use your. But it will depend upon the second person pronoun if you are combining both second person and third person. I hope you understood. Thank you. Goodbye.